and then later on started with our own edition in 2000 September, if I recollect well. But my brush with social media came about a few years ago, approximately about 7 years ago, when I started dabbling in social media as a part of my job. And those days were very infant days of the social media. We never had much to speak of, because there was a Twitter that was active. Later on came the Facebook, and then of course other platforms like Instagram and other things. But in today's world, if you honestly ask me, many of us in this room, as Joe was saying, are plus 40 and running up the ladder. And whenever we want to do something with a laptop or an iPad or something, we usually call our kids and say, can you just sort this out for us? Sort this out for me. And the kids, which are very smart, they kind of within a few seconds they try and fix you what would have taken you hours together to understand. And coming more from a public sector undertaking, that makes your job all the more difficult as to how to use social media in an organization like yours. But thankfully I opened up 2 Facebook sites before you started the session, so that I could show you at the end of it how an organization like the Ministry of External Affairs, for example, you may tell me that it is very colorful, it's very prestigious to be organized, to be seen on the social media site, may not be necessarily for an organization like ATPC, where your only job is to produce power and power and power. Okay, but there are various ways of doing it. I can only suggest how to do it, but let me just run you through the few facets of what I think would be the most appropriate way to look at social media. Let's look at the media in general, as holistic as you can get it. Am I audible at the back? Yes. Perfect, thanks. So, it is to do with the declining readership, and I often just tell this to my daughter, who is doing her journalism and communication from Manipal University. I tell her, being a journalism student, I hardly see her reading a newspaper. She says, Daddy, why should I read a newspaper? Everything is on my mobile. So, the age has come to such a state that today, reading a newspaper is a habit, of course, for many of us who, as I keep telling Joe said, plus 40 and above, we still like to smell the coffee in the morning and read a newspaper. But for the young generation, if you see your kids, your grandkids, as some of you have it, they are least bothered about a newspaper. They hardly touch a newspaper. Okay. For them, the world is either an iPad with their world, their community, their friends, their WhatsApp, and their Facebook Messenger, Facebook postings, and Instagram here or there. Because I often ask my daughter, where are the photographs that you took last week when you went to Rajasthan? She said, oh, it's all in the Instagram, go check it there. But I don't have an Instagram account, so I've got to create one before I start accessing that particular part of it. But I am a very active Facebooker, and as Ratnakar, one of my colleagues from the ad industry, will tell you that no matter where I go, and I would request Ratnakar to take a picture of mine giving this lecture, because I want people to understand how I would be using that in the social media tool as soon as this meeting is over. For example, wherever I travel, I make sure that I update myself. In fact, my wife tells me it's very easy to trace you through the Facebook than trace you through the actual, because I don't tell her where I'm going often, and suddenly she sees that I have landed up in the next Y or Z place, and that she tracks me through a status. And how many of you actually use a status when you move from place to place? You might feel that, yes.